So Marabina, hi.
Hi, Vince. I'm so happy to see you.
I really appreciate making the time to sort of sit with me a bit and talk a little bit, from the day I met you, because you, I met you when I was in my teens.
Um, let's not go there.
But
No,
from
the
the
truth
minute I
is that,
met you, I was just so inspired because I looked at you and I looked at the way you walked and talked, and I'm like, that is a creative, that is an artist. I don't know what she's doing, but I want whatever that's happening. And you have
oh,
inspired me from day one, from the first time that I've set eyes on you. So I want to thank you for that. You
Vince.
know, uh, you and I, ultimately we got a chance to work together because at the animation studio Klasky Csupo, you were on Santo Bugito, and that was how many, 2 seasons or something?
No, it was only one season,
One
and
season.
we still have fans. It's kind of funny. We're still
Well, it
getting.
was ahead of its time too, right?
It was ahead of its
Yeah.
time. For those of you who don't know it, you could actually go on. You can go to YouTube and look up Santo Bugito. We had a stellar cast.
Yeah.
Tony Plana played my husband. I was Carmen de la Anches. I had
Yeah.
thousands of children. It was Bugs on the Tex-Mex border. The music was done by Mark Mothersbaugh
I
from
know.
Devo, and
I know.
so the list of amazing actors. I mean, Jim Belushi, George Kennedy. Anyway, it goes on and
It
on.
goes
But
on and on and
anyway,
on.
Santa Bagito. Yes, that was a really great thing to do. That was my first lead in an animated series.
Wow.
CBS picked
That's
it
cool.
up. We only had one season, but I think you're right, Vince. It was created by
Arlene Klasky.
Klasky, and she was ahead of her time because
Yeah.
basically it was an animated series about family. Really, that's what
It
it was
really
about.
was.
Because bugs, though.
Yeah, and Arlene and I are still friends, and she's another one who inspires me. And I actually met my wife there at the studio, Donna, and so between you and meeting my wife, I mean, it's like I have much love for Klasky Csupo.
Oh my gosh, yeah, one of our favorite places, no doubt. But
Yeah,
I do remember after going, through the audition process and getting booked and coming to the studio, and then Vince, what are you doing here?
I know it was kind of shocking because I remember that moment. We were on there was a mezzanine above the studio, and
Yes,
you were coming out with Arlene and Gabor, and I think it had just happened that you had
yes.
just gotten the part, and you and I embraced, and like, how are you doing? Everybody's looking at me like, how do you know her?
Well, let me tell you, you're everywhere, Vince. I have to tell you, we really also enjoyed interviewing you on the Trend Talk.
Yeah, that was
Some
awesome.
of you may know I also host a show with my great friend Bel Hernandez called the
Bell.
Trend Talk. And we had a chance actually to talk to Vince about also all the many things that you do. I love that you have an eye for vintage because I think things just aren't made the same way anymore. People are making things so much faster. I mean, look at us. Here we are. We're
Yeah,
you know, we're doing a television show
yeah,
right now in our living rooms or wherever we are.
yeah,
But to actually have an eye and to be able to appreciate, the talent and the painstaking work that it takes to illustrate, freehand, or to come up with some of these amazing like trademarks and brands, things that people have made with their hands. I mean, I think
yeah.
it's a great talent to
Wow.
also be able to
Wow. I really
appreciate it.
appreciate that. That's really something. It was great to be on the show, and we're going to put up links and everything. So people
Yes.
should definitely check out the show because you guys have really great talks and artists. And today I was watching you guys on Instagram Live,
Oh my gosh.
giving you thumbs up. And, it's fun that you guys like, I'm looking at you guys and what you're creating, and I'm like, that's what we should be doing, so I'm really inspired by that. I hope you guys don't stop. And
Oh, well,
just
we're not going anywhere. We just had the 2020 Omni Cultural the Omni Culture TV Fest Award for
Wow.
Best Talk Show.
Wow.
Now, this is really great. If you don't know about the Omni Culture Fest, you should find out because it is actually put on by Kiki Melendez and NATPE, the
Yeah.
National Television Producers
Yeah.
Association. That means the people that are constantly looking for content
Yeah.
for the different affiliates around the country. So we are over the moon that we won this award. The truth is that the Trend Talk is a place to highlight creatives. We do have more of a slant on Latino creatives just because um, there aren't that many mainstream media places to highlight them. But I mean, we're not limited to that. It's
Sure.
just more of a welcome mat for Latinos that are creatives. So if you don't know the Trend Talk Show,
Yeah.
please follow us.
Absolutely.
And if you have some great ideas, either for guests or something that we like to do on the show is a trendsetter shout out. We like to, talk about organizations that are doing amazing things. So let
Yeah,
us.
I love that about you guys. You and Belle are really open to that because, I can imagine. I mean, I think of, and I should be doing this is start sending you guys stuff because I think about people and organizations all the time that was like, oh, this is a great fit. I should do that. And you guys are really great about, featuring that. And it's really amazing work that you guys are doing because it's really the barrier to entry sometimes is really kind of hard, and people
Yeah,
that have content and that are trying to get it seen and, have leverage social to do it. That's cool when you're already got traction, but when you're just starting out, it's not really that easy. And you guys are really great about, just finding good quality and beating that drum. So thank you.
well,
Appreciate it.
we are glad to do it because we've also needed someone to open doors for us.
Sure.
And I have to say, I mean, kudos to my partner Belle. I mean,
Yeah.
Belle started the Latin Heat magazine because, again, was not even there wasn't enough room, let's say, in the trades to highlight Latino creatives. So she
Yeah.
just started her own trade, which
Yeah.
is
I love
Latin
it.
Heat
I love it.
magazine. Um, but yeah, it's such a great time we're living right now. I'm,
Yeah.
I'm talking about technology, of
Yeah.
course, not the pandemic, but
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah.
That it started with music, people creating music on their own, and then people had wanting to say something and creating their own podcasts and their own web series, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. You don't have to wait
You
anymore.
don't have to wait. No
And
barrier to
that's
entry.
what you're doing.
Well,
Going
yeah,
for
and
it.
I'm the stress on me is really just to make sure that the quality is good and the content is good and relevant. If you want to know how to do something, you could just Google it. You don't need to go to a school or need, there are so many great things that you can do on your own so that, people should just go. They should just go. Just go.
Yeah. Well, there is one other thing that you do need. I mean, you have to believe in yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
So the reason that I'm actually mentioning that is because we or the Buddhists say heaven and hell is in your body, in your mind. You create it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want something to be manifested on the outside, you really do. It's an inside job. You got to start there. And I heard something really terrific. There's this Mexican philosopher. His name is David Habib. Um,
Oh, I didn't know.
and he's very interesting. He's really cool. He has a beard. He's talking about, moving forward. But there's one thing that he said that I absolutely love. He says something like, you know, people have ideas and they immediately, shoot them down. I mean, things are in their infancy and already the critical mind is saying, no, you can't, you can't, you can't. And he says, you know, you should love your ideas if for nothing else because they're yours,
Yeah.
because you have a vision.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to believe. And
Yeah.
you know sometimes people get like there are things they want to do, and they don't take the actions, but this lingering thing, like this this little voice is like, hey, did you get to this yet? Did you get to this yet?
Yeah.
And not everyone is getting that
Yeah.
impression
Yeah.
or that
Yeah.
that little motivation. So go for it for sure.
Yeah, it's true. And before we get on a tirade, I just want to just go back a little bit because you are a voiceover actress, a live action actress. You've been on the stage. You are award winning actress from PBS's host of Storytime,
Yes.
and
I
that's right behind you, isn't it?
yes, that's one of the Emmys. I was nominated twice. And the best part of being on Storytime was, of course, working with Mark Ritz, who was Kino.
Sure.
But the best part was, not having any concept at all of the power of television.
Oh, I love that.
One thing is to be in a studio and say your lines and get on your mark and leave. And another thing is to be at the airport and you're trying to catch a flight and the flight and the person behind the counter goes, I'm sorry, there are no more seats. Wait a minute, aren't you Mara? Like, yes. Oh, okay, let me see what we can do.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there's that. And then the stories, hearing
Yeah.
people say, we really enjoy reading with our children, or a lot of kids would write to us and let us know that they really liked story time because it was the time when their divorced parents and them could actually get together for a half hour.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, working in television is so fantastic. You can do so much and you can reach the world. You really can.
Yeah.
So, that
Well,
was
the reason
one
I
of the
say
best
that, the reason I even bring it up, of course, I'm inspired by you daily, but
things.
the reason I talk about, the TV and the stage, and you're also a VO coach, you're a voiceover coach as well.
Well, I teach all ages and actually all across the country, and most of my students are bilingual. Um, and I think one of the greatest tips I could give anyone that would like to enter the world of voiceover is to record a personal narration about something that means something to you. When my students come for the first couple of classes, I ask them specific questions like, what's your favorite date? And 95% will say their birthday.
Oh, wow.
And 5% will say either the loss of someone they loved or, an animal or something like that. And I always find that interesting because it's when they're telling me about something that's heartfelt that I can really hear their voice because it's actually the heart speaking. So I love being able to just kind of open a little door, because the truth is that actors learn, they learn the ropes, but either actors have talent or they don't. I don't really think that people teach someone else to act. They can just make you feel comfortable enough to share an experience
Hmm.
or to replicate an experience.
Yeah.
But boy, I love teaching. I never thought that I would be teaching voiceover, although I've done it since I was 5 years old, and that is a long time, let me tell you. Because I started actually in the Spanish language commercials on camera, and then I started dubbing commercials from English to Spanish. I actually was the voice of Maybelline in Spanish for many years.
Oh, cool.
And then I started dubbing animated series from Japan into Spanish and then into English. And then I was dubbing American films into Spanish and then European films into English, and back and forth and back and forth. So I've always used my voice, actually.
Yeah.
I've always used it. And, the voice is so powerful. I mean, if you have any doubt about how powerful a voice is, all you have to do is think about when you're about to do something. I mean, do you hear your mom's voice? Do you hear your dad's voice? Do you hear, knock it off, you'll never be able to do it? Or do you
That's a
hear,
great
yes,
question.
do it, do it?
That's a great
The-
question.
yeah, the voice is just so powerful.
And it's usually the voices outside of our own instinct that are one that unfortunately a lot of times will win, that we're not giving the honor to the internal voice.
Yeah, the
That's
peer
crazy.
pressure.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. So, You and I actually got a chance to work together recently because you were featured in Voyage LA, the online entertainment magazine. And they did a great spread of you, a great layout of like all your accomplishments and what you were working on and things like that. I mean, you're not, you've been in the press before. It's not like, all that new, but how was it this time? Was it kind of exciting or?
Well, I have to tell you, yes, I've been in the press before, but something very different happened last year. My son turned to 18. I was a single
Mm,
mom for 18 years. It wasn't easy. A shout out, of course, to all the single parents out there. The great news is that my son's a great person,
yeah,
and his dad, even if we were divorced, stepped up. And I mean, there's nothing like this story. My son, writing essays for different universities, and my ex and I just like being supportive. That
that's
was a
cool.
really cool thing. But the fact that he turned 18, uh, I really felt like, okay, I think I've done my job. He got into a fantastic school, USC, and now I'm going to pick up the pieces. That's exactly what I thought. And so to do the article for Voyage LA, and also to start the trend talk, and I'm producing a couple of other projects that are winning awards and things like that. It just seemed like, wow, this is great. I feel like the butterfly coming out of the cocoon.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
I'm, full of energy and ready to do fantastic things. So to be asked to be in that beautiful magazine was so great. And then, of course, to do my bubble shoot with you,
Okay.
fantastic, because I told them, look, I know I have the photos. They're taken. These are the photographs that I would like to use. And tell me again about the bubble room.
You're very kind. That was, you were sort of like the perfect storm because, this concept that I have, and I brought it to you and I'm like, you're just going to love it. I knew you were just going to love it. So it was really fun to play. So, what I've been doing is photographing right before COVID started. I started photographing some of my clients, in sort of dramatic lighting setups, shooting bubbles around them, and it would change their personality. When people pose in front of a camera, they put their pose face on or whatever,
Their pose face.
right? Or sometimes you get kids and they don't want to be there, and so that doesn't look good on camera. But I started doing this thing with bubbles around kids, and it turned out great. And then all the adults that saw it wanted to do it, and I was like, okay, well, if that translates, then this will be a lot of fun. So when I brought it to you, I knew you would be totally game. And so you and your son, and
Yes.
you guys just glowed in those images.
And
And
even
so
our makeup artist, my friend Nedra Haney, who did
and
my
that
makeup.
was a ball because she didn't even want to do it. So she's gonna be mad because I'm gonna put the image
We're
up.
gonna put her pictures up. Well, I also have to tell you how brilliant of an idea during COVID.
Yeah,
I mean, we definitely were social distance.
yeah,
The bubbles also added, this protection.
yeah.
But the magic, you don't know, you didn't know which way
Oh, I know,
the bubbles were going to
I
go.
know, I
You
know.
didn't know which way the bubbles were going to go, and you didn't know, um, you just didn't know what the composition of the picture was going to be, and you couldn't help but laugh.
And you can't
I,
that's exactly right. You can't not laugh. I mean, it's really just, people naturally laughing in front of the camera is not anything I could ever direct anybody to do or make them do and
yeah.
make it look authentic. And when people honestly laugh, there is such a great glow about that. And Yeah, it's just thank you again for wanting to play with me because that was just so much fun. And we did a lot of pictures, you guys. That was just a ball.
And also, Vince, it was just so nice to see somebody from the outside.
Ugh,
I mean, literally, we hadn't gone anywhere. Obviously, we didn't have any,
I
not
know,
many people coming
I
over,
know,
just like our immediate
I
neighbors,
know,
just people that we've been seeing. So
I
it
know.
was really, um, and I remember, we talked about, how we're going to do
Yeah.
this socially distant, and
Yeah. I know.
but it was a highlight.
It was a lot of fun, and it was so great hanging out with all you guys. And as soon as we can get back to sort of normalcy, I'm basically gonna set up camp in your backyard because that was just so much fun.
Absolutely. I think I still owe you dinner. So what
Deal.
I'm hoping is that is it Figaro, the rest.
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah, as soon as is it open already? Because
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
place
They
I'm
got
gonna
people
go
in
for
the
dinner.
sidewalk there. They started immediately.
All right, well, let's make a point to go over there.
Done, done, done. So, one of the things, the sort of the spine of why I wanted to talk to you, because you are very much not like me, because you've been performing since you were a kid, and not shy about getting in front of people and performing and things like that. What is that? Could you translate that spark? Like, what is it in you that really loves it? Is it just an undescribable love of doing that, or is there something
Um,
about it that drives you?
I'm a ham.
Fair enough. End of interview.
That's it. There's no magic.
That's a great answer.
I'm a ham. Well, I have to put all of this in context. My mom, Maria, who is no longer with us, may she rest in peace. We
Yes.
lost her last year at
Yes.
95 years old. Okay,
Yes.
95. She really just paved the way to have fabulous ideas and just follow through with them.
Big concepts.
Nothing else,
Yeah.
just for your immediate family. I mean,
I love it.
as my nephews, of course, you went to school with
Yeah.
some of
Yeah.
them. I would bore my nephews and nieces to death having, they were the audience. I mean, I did a lot of babysitting. That's why I've always worked with kids.
Kids are a
But
tough
my
crowd.
mom, what's that?
Kids are a tough crowd.
They are a tough crowd. Only one of them is in the business, Ernie G.
Ernie G.
All the rest are like, no, no, we'll
Yeah.
go to college.
We're
This is
good.
awful. But my mom, the truth is that I'm the product of a magician's assistant wannabe and a Latin jazz pianist.
Oh my
This
God.
is what happens when these
Wow. If that's on a Netflix show, I don't know what is.
so my mom, she lived vicariously
Yeah.
through me, and she encouraged me to sing and dance. And of course, my father played Latin jazz, salsa, mambo, all of that. So, I kind of had no choice. I was very encouraged to do this. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, you like the attention. You have a something you can do,
Yeah.
and you do the something,
Yeah.
and some people like it, and when you're a kid, people like that sort of thing. As I grew older, I suddenly realized that I actually really wanted to perform on stage. I wanted to be a serious actress and studied Shakespeare and all these other things
As a craft.
as a craft. Yeah,
Yes.
as a craft. But I'm very grateful to my mom to have just created that space. And also some of the things that she would say to me, I mean, they're still true to me today. She used to say, if we don't have it, we'll make it.
Love it.
And that's just I was marinated in possibility. I
I
really
love it.
was.
That's amazing.
Um, I mean, all families are not perfect. Yes, there was a lot of
Sure.
chaos. Oh my gosh, crazy. My mom had this habit, of my mom had this habit of losing her purse every time she was going to go somewhere. And it was just like a routine, it was just a routine because she was so busy and preoccupied and doing so many things at once. Hmm. I just realized I'm just like her.
Ah!
Uh-oh.
Oh
I
my
better
God.
check in with my son.
Oh
See
my
what he
God. I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So now what's next for you? Because you have a lot of irons in the fire right now. You guys
Yes.
have a pretty successful, you and Belle have a successful thing going on. That I don't see any reason why that wouldn't grow. But you're not the type of person who gets comfortable. So what's next for you? What other projects are you working on?
Well, thank you so much for asking. During COVID, I have to say, this whole all of 2020 was probably the most creative time I've spent.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing, of course, is that as you mentioned, I'm teaching classes, bilingual voiceover classes at Academia de la Voz.
Nice.
And they are bilingual. I do have students that don't speak Spanish, and I have students that are trying to improve their English. So I work in both languages.
That's great.
That is very, very fun and successful. And I love the fact that, we're teaching all over the country. So I'm very proud, very, very proud of that. And we've started a side thing with Academia, which is I'm interviewing some prominent Latino voiceover actors
Oh,
as well.
cool.
We just did an interview with Fabiola Stevenson, who is probably one of the best audiobook narrators around.
Oh,
And
wow.
she's also a filmmaker. She had a film in Cannes. But anyway, just the opportunity to interview people that I admire, that I've worked with, that's really fun. So that's the Academia de la Voz.
Cool.
What else? Of course, we're continuing with the Trend Talk.
Yeah.
We're going to start our fifth season. And
Nice.
we are very excited because we do have some interest from other affiliates. Right now, locally, you can see us on MeTV,
Hmm.
but of course, all our episodes are on YouTube. Of course, I have to say, please follow us,
Of course.
check out
Yeah.
the Trend Talk.
Yes.
But we have some great ideas about, we have a lot of really wonderful guests that are going to be coming up in the next season. And we're very excited because, again, COVID, the shutdown actually gave us an opportunity to reach out not only to actors, but to the executive producers and the writers of some of these popular shows. Like we interviewed, I don't know how many people from the Selena series, which was really fantastic. And we got to talk to Luisa Lechen from
Mm.
Mr. Iglesias. She's phenomenal. Peter Murieta, also from Mr. Iglesias. So what I'm saying is we got a chance to talk to a lot of creatives that don't normally do talk shows. They're behind the scenes and really running the machinery. But it was COVID, so
Yeah.
we made the call and they answered, and they said, sure, why not?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's one of
Yeah,
the things
and
that I noticed too with COVID is the barrier to access has really dropped a little bit.
right.
It's a lot easier to reach people. So you guys are really smart to take advantage of that. So that's
Well,
cool.
that's been we've just had so much fun. Mark Roberts is another producer that we were able to talk to, who is producing all of Mario Lopez's projects. And they had like the first project post COVID or during COVID. I mean, they actually were like one of the first projects to get out there and find out how they could safely shoot, etc. So that was all very interesting.
Love
So
it.
there's the Trend Talk. And then I helped to produce a pilot. It's called 2 Feet In with my friend Marissa Herrera. And we have been shopping the pilot, but the great news is that Shorts TV picked it up. So
Mm.
that little pilot has already been all over South
Wow.
America and all over Europe. So we're happy
Nice.
about that. And then I have another project. This is just, what can I say? This project was developed because of COVID, and I can't give you all the specifics, but this is an anthology film, and it was shot all across the country during COVID. And the caveat was that you could only use your iPhone and whatever you had handy.
Oh,
You
I love
couldn't
it.
bring anyone in to help you. And you had to write and direct and produce your own piece.
I love it.
So now it's a big surprise. You'll be hearing more about this project. It's called COVID-19 Sins and Virtues. I don't want to give you all of it
I
because
love
we
it.
have some really, really big news coming up,
Very cool.
which you will hear about very shortly. But the cool thing is that all these creatives got to do what they love at home, and then all of this material has been pieced together. I've worked with my wonderful friends and producers, Alex Mendoza, and Jennifer Behrens and Mauricio Mendoza. And we have just a beautiful project, and you will be hearing more about this. So don't
Nice.
forget,
Nice.
COVID-19 Sins and Virtues.
Cool.
So I have a couple of other shorts that I've produced, other people's material. I really didn't, I really didn't know that I would enjoy producing as much, but I think it's just, I love when people have an idea and they're doing the work to get it done. Then it's really easy to want to support someone.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I guess I know where to pitch all my projects to now. So
Well,
be
the one
prepared.
thing, yeah, the one thing I have to do, I mean, I have to find more sources, more financing sources.
Financing, the F
Yes.
word. Wow.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's okay.
that is very solvable. As your mom said, if we don't
If you
have
don't
it,
have it, make
we're
it.
gonna make it, right?
Yes, yes,
That's really cool. That's exciting. Well, it sounds like in 6 to 8 months, I need to get you in front of camera again because
yes.
we're gonna have a lot of things to talk about.
Oh, yeah. And I haven't even mentioned all the on-camera things that
Oh,
I'm
nice.
up for or waiting for or trying to figure out for myself. So I have those as well. But one thing that I realized during COVID, during this pause that we've had to contemplate, um, to contemplate like the messages that people are sending out. I think that especially creatives of color, artists of color, the voice for the negativity towards the artists of color, I think we've heard enough of it. And it's almost comical because sometimes it seems that there's like a formula for writing television or film if it
Yeah.
has to do with Latinos.
Yeah.
It's almost like, screenwriting for Latinos 101, you
Yeah.
must have a chicken, there must be Santeria involved, and everyone is in a gang or not.
Yeah.
I think we're so past that now.
Yeah.
During this pandemic, we've realized how many people of color have been saving lives on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I hope that we do not forget this. And although we want things to be normal, we don't want to be in that normalcy that we were in before, where we take everyone for granted.
Agreed.
So I'm very interested in projects that are forward thinking. I'm very interested in scripts that aren't focused on ethnicity. That is absurd.
Yeah.
We're so past this now.
Yeah.
And violence against people of color, we've seen it. It's really old. It's
It's
really
really
old.
old, and we're at a great time where the gatekeepers don't have the same amount of power. Um, I think that, you know, we talk about financiers. I think
Yeah.
financiers have the power because they pay for it. But, that doesn't prevent us from choosing the financier
Right. Or becoming the
or
financier.
becoming the financier.
Hello.
Yes. So, gather the tribe and, send a new message. It's all the models are broken.
That's right.
The world is hungry for brand new styles of everything.
Yes.
And so hopefully the quality rises to the top and the authenticity rises to the top.
Right. And it's good to disrupt in a positive
It's
way.
required.
It is. It is. I mean, we just had a big, disruption with GameStop. I mean, what
Yeah.
was that
Yeah.
about? That was like amazing.
Amazing.
But I think 2020 is going to be, we're going to remember 2020 and, anything post pandemic as, the time where every single idea was challenged and
Yes.
every kind of position of power was challenged.
Yes.
Um, you know, Good things can come out of
Yes.
this disruption.
Yes.
And in creativity, we're seeing that there's just so much possibility. The fact that people can look at things in such incredibly different ways benefits everyone. It
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah. It's really true. And talk about disruption. Now, I'm only 2 days into
Uh-oh. Bridgerton? No.
Clubhouse,
Oh, Clubhouse. Okay.
and I
I wasn't sure where you were going.
so we're talking about just new platforms of voices. You know what I mean? So a lot of my peers at my age, when I'm talking to them, it's kind of like they're glossing over a little bit, but it's interesting to look at this. And I found you guys on there. I found Belle on there,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't
I
even know what it
invited
means
Belle.
yet. But if we think about it as just a new audience, a new way to stand on the soapbox, kind of, it's just a different
Hmm.
way for messaging to get through.
Oh, I look at it as a big party. It's a big
It seems
party.
like a big party. I know.
It is a big party. I think it's a big party, and then the added benefit is that you have people that are experts in their field talking to you
Yeah.
wherever you are. I mean, Elon Musk was on two
Oh, I
days
know.
ago.
I know.
I mean, I mentioned it on our live today. I was in a room and Tiffany Haddish
That's
she was
amazing.
running that room, let me tell
That's
you.
cool.
But it's
Shocking.
so great because she has, of course, her production
Yeah.
companies, and
Yeah.
she's, the things that she's been doing at Netflix have
Yeah.
been very
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
And she has a lot of ideas. And it's really cool. You're in your home, you're on this, I guess, like a never ending podcast, and suddenly Tiffany Haddish
I
is
know.
cracking jokes and
I know.
talking to you about, some of her ideas for things that she wants to do.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, just about any theme. I mean, I was invited, because you do have to be invited
Yeah.
for now, but I was invited by my friend Laura Summer, who does voiceover. And I was like, what the heck is this? And the next thing I know is I was on there for 2 hours, and I heard a little bit of someone talking about, how to monetize on Instagram, and, other people trying to break into voiceover, which you really can't break into voiceover. You really
Right.
got to do step by step. But
Yeah.
and then, talking, listening to people talking about dating,
Yeah.
and, so I think it's kind of like an ear on the world.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is that you're listening to people all over the place, not just in California, not just in the
It's
United
global.
States. Uh, it's so fantastic. Oh my
It's kind of
God!
fantastic. And the other thing too is, and this is typical with a lot of these early, Instagram wasn't what it is now when it started. So,
Right,
the market will sort of decide the culture of it. And I think because it's very early, it was designed to be kind of what it is. But I think in a year or so, it's going to morph into something as the users use it in different ways. So it's going to
right.
be exciting to see how that plays out. But
Well, also because COVID has made it absolutely impossible to network and socialize in
yeah,
person.
yeah,
I mean, this goes beyond Instagram and Facebook,
yeah,
because you're actually in the same vicinity, not with one person or two, which, you're limited on
yeah,
Instagram. You could be in a room with 3,000 people.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
I
you and
think,
Belle got to do something so I can hang out at the party.
oh yes, well, we're planning it. I mean,
Good.
our first, the first thing we're going to do, of course, we're going to interview the creators
Yeah.
of Clubhouse.
Yeah.
That's our plan.
Oh, cool.
So, well, that's our plan. We have to meet them, but we'll do it. We'll do it. We're going to
Nice.
talk to them.
Nice.
Because the other thing about Clubhouse, which I think is fantastic, they have so many experts that also speak Spanish, different languages. So there's no limit. And also, if you have a product that you want to get around the world, I mean, going to Clubhouse and hanging out and
Yeah.
meeting people from different places in the world,
Yeah.
I mean, this is like it's a huge marketplace
It's
that
a,
you can tap into just by having something in common.
yeah. Yeah.
It's freaking brilliant. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So my last question,
Yes.
what inspires you? Like what keeps your spark going?
Well, I have a son, so,
Yes.
and he is the apple of my eye
Yes. You raised
and
a
a
good boy.
fire under my butt to keep going forward. So my motivation is my motivation, of course, is my son and his health and his future. Um, but I'm a dreamer. I'm never going to stop. Um, I I just love laughing. I love bringing joy to other people. I love encouraging people, and of course, I love to be encouraged. So, what can I tell you? I feel like I feel like a gardener. I like to
I love
plant
that.
seeds, nourish them. And when you spread joy, you're surrounded by flowers. You're always surrounded by the things that you have been putting your efforts in. So I love life. I really love it. And even the things that have been difficult, and there have been, of course, I've always tried to keep moving forward. Um, I love this Buddhist idea, as long as you don't give up, you can never fail. So you just keep moving
I
forward.
love that. That's really cool. That's really cool. And where are you on social? Where can people find you?
Marabina Jaimes everywhere. Marabina
Love it.
Jaimes everywhere. Of course, you have to spell it correctly. But the
They
good
will.
news is,
I'm gonna put it up.
okay, I'm the only one, thank goodness. It cracks me up. Sometimes people are saying, oh, you need to get verified. I'm like, well, I'm the only one. Why? I verify myself.
Somebody's gonna steal that.
Well, they can't now. They can't now.
I
But
love it.
Vince, again, congratulations. I'm so glad that you're doing this.
Ah,
I love your work,
thank
and I
you.
am waiting for my jacket.
We just got to size you up, girl.
Yeah.
We got to figure out what's going to fit. So we just have to get
Okay.
some measurements,
Okay.
get you
All right.
something
Well,
custom.
I'll get back to you in a month because the
Okay.
year just started.
Awesome. Well, anytime around you, I'm totally inspired. So I really appreciate your time. And I know you're a very busy creative. And so, I really value your company and your time and your friendship. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. And wishing you and your son the very, very best. And, I'm really excited to see what you create. So
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you today. I wish you great success with
thank you.
everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
And hugs to Donna.
I absolutely, absolutely. Be well.
You too. Thanks, Vince.
Bye.
Bye.